Hey everyone, Powwow Guy here. Happy Saturday. It's been a great week. We had a great day today, which we'll talk about, but the cool thing about this weekly update is that I'm not the only Powwow Guy here. I actually have another Powwow Guy here, my BFF, Michael. Him and I have known each other for years, and the cool thing about Michael is that he's one of those rare people to meet in this day and age that actually has powwow in his family. So he's not like me that just kind of like fell in love with the tradition and learned it and such. He actually learned it growing up. So before we get to the weekly update with our astrology and planting and harvesting and such things, I just really want to introduce my friend Michael because he's going to start putting himself out there to do powwowing work. So Michael, you definitely got to tell us a little bit of something about yourself.
All right. Hello, my name is Michael Meehan. Like Rob said, I encountered powwow as a younger individual. My family has roots going back in the New Holland area back to the 1720s when they immigrated from Germany. And the powwow must have carried on through that line. My grandmother used to do charms along with my aunt. This is my paternal grandmother. She would do charms for individuals where she would basically write a prayer on a piece of paper, put it in a cup, add a dash of holy water, because at that time the family was Roman Catholic, which we still are. And then she would dip the prayer that she had written into the glass of water and let it dissolve. And when it was dissolved in the glass of water, she would have the individual who had an ailment drink the water in the hopes of curing them and trying for a cure. And, this was something that she had taught me a little bit, and, I kind of put it on the back burner. And then when she passed away, we were going through her items, and in a tin box in her drawer, I happened to find an old book of powwow. I believe it's dated from the 1840s in Harrisburg. I also found an old Bible in the box, and that was it. And so, again, I put those away on the back burner. I didn't really think much of them until I met Rob, who kind of initiated me a little bit into powwow, and I began learning powwow from Rob and learned that these things that I had found in my family, that had happened in my family, were actually powwow. So because of that, I developed an interest, and I've been practicing for a few years now, and I thought, we thought this would be a good kind of introductory video for me to get myself out there.
I mean, that's awesome. It's so cool that you actually had that in your history, your personal history in your family. And I don't want to touch the book, but like just seeing that old copy of The Long Lost Friend that you found in your grandmother's stuff, to me is fantastic. I wish I had that story to tell, but I don't. But that's like
a little copy of The Long Lost.
That's amazing. That's really how it went, though, with a lot of the older families and such. They learned from their grandparents or their parents. Sometimes it was same gender, sometimes it was cross gender, and the fact that your grandmother and your aunt were kind of showing you what they did, teaching you this charm, and that's a very obscure but old school traditional powwow charm that you're talking about, the dissolution of the paper charm in water and then drinking that. So for those of you watching this video, that's not found in a written text. You're not going to find that anywhere. That's where powwow is kind of an oral tradition in those kind of charms. So that's fantastic. So I'm really excited that Michael is putting himself out there now, finally. It's about time. It's long past due. But
Well, I've been working with Rob for some time now, and I feel that I'm feeling called to come out there as a powwow.
yeah, it's about time. It's about time. So this is great. So highly recommend it. We're going to put. He does have a blog, which he's going to start keeping up with better. We're going to put a link to that in the description.
Right now, the blog needs a little bit of work.
It just needs a little TLC, but you're going to get there. And hopefully, I don't know. Now, Michael isn't from he's from the Philadelphia area. He's just outside of Philadelphia, and I'm in South Central Pennsylvania. So as we give this weekly update, just keep in mind that this is for South Central Pennsylvania. Conditions might be a little different in his area, and that's okay. So if you're from the Philadelphia area, Delaware County, Bucks County, Chester County, is that correct?
Delaware County.
Delaware County, okay. This is your go-to guy. So upcoming this week, Sunday, June 27th through Saturday, July 3rd. Not a lot going on astrologically, but the theme of this week, speaking astrologically, is banishing and returning things to their sender. So we have this week, we're in the waning moon phase, obviously. The full moon was last week. So the fourth quarter moon on Thursday, we'll be hitting the fourth quarter. The moon will be in the sign of Aries. Now, Aries is like the sign of war and such. So when you're in the waning moon, you think getting rid of your enemies, overcoming enemies and obstacles, that sort of thing. But the moon is also in this, it's doing the 60-degree angle to Saturn. It's called a sextile. A sextile is an opportunity. It's an opportunity time. So Saturn is all about banishing. It's all about taking control. It's all about putting the brakes on things, stopping people in their tracks, bringing criminals to justice. So Thursday, this whole week really, but Thursday is the best thing going on astrologically this week is Thursday night. Great night for banishing, protection magic, sending Hexari back to its source. That's the key right there. So a lot of people come to me because they believe they've been cursed or the victim of a hex. And that, unfortunately, that's pretty prevalent in our state. But one of the things that Michael, and he can talk to you about this is kind of his specialty. He has a lot of experience returning magic to its source, overcoming curses and such. So I think he should definitely give us a little information about that.
Yeah, as Rob was mentioning, this is something that I have some experience with. I am a very devout Christian. I am Roman Catholic, and so a lot of my my interests in sending back spells and stuff surrounds a lot of that sort of nature. I take a lot of those things into account, but I also use, as I said, traditional powwow. So I have had experience with hexed individuals sending the curses and such back to the individual who sent it, and it's something that it's not something to be taken lightly, and it's honestly not something that I will say I enjoy doing, but it's something that God has given me a talent for, and it's something that I feel called to do for those individuals who have been verhexed by a witch or a what have you.
That's so important because, especially in this day and age, now more so than any time throughout history, we have more actual people who identify as witches. Now, a lot of them, as I said before, are good people doing magic that's not very dissimilar to what we do as powwows. But there are some who consider themselves outside of that sort of modern definition and who are not afraid to do this kind of negative magic against people that they feel they've been wronged by and such. So those are the people that we really want to help, and that's really important that you do that because, I struggle with that sometimes. I struggle when people come to me with hexes and curses and such because it's a lot of work to determine if somebody really has been verhexed. It's a lot of work to determine who the person was, if you even can, which most of the time we can't, obviously. And it's a lot of work to remove that from an individual. So it's like such huge, huge, huge important work. But in addition to that, you can also do, I know this for a fact, speaking for Michael a little bit, he can also do general powwowing, healing and such. So what would you recommend to somebody if they feel like they need your services? Like how would they get in touch with you and what can they expect when they meet with you in person?
Well, I think the best way to get in touch with me at this time is checking out my website. I have a website that Rob is going to put in the links. There's an email contact form on there to get in touch with me. And as Rob mentioned, in addition to working with individuals who feel that they have been hexed and such and removing that, I can do general healings. I can do general powwow is what Rob would call general powwow and such, and what I call as general powwow. And I also am working on, I also enjoy working on creating Himmelsbriefs for individuals. I'm a bit of an artist, so I take in traditional fracture art and such and attempt to create custom Himmelsbriefs for individuals, so that's something I also enjoy doing. But the best way to contact me is through my website. I won't give it here because it's basically a long terminology.
We'll put it down below.
Yeah.
We'll put it down.
Yeah. So it's genuinebrowkery.com is what it is, but you have to learn how to spell browkery.
Yeah, we'll put that down below. It's just best to click on something instead of spelling it out. Yeah, so that's that. So this is Michael, everyone. This is the other powwow guy. So certainly him and I are not the only ones. Sorry about the hair, by the way. I don't know what's going on. But certainly him and I are not the only powwow practitioners, but we really kind of put ourselves out there because we really want to help people. So as is true with me, it's also true with Michael. We would rather see you in person. Yes. So if you're in South Central Pennsylvania, contact me. If you contact me and you're from the Philadelphia, Delaware County area, you're going to go to him. Chester County. Yeah, Chester County. So you want Southeastern Pennsylvania, he's your guy. South Central, here we are. So for the rest of the week, let's talk ice machine. So for the rest of the week, we'll talk a little bit about the weather. It's going to be hot and humid, South Central Pennsylvania. So every day is like hot and humid. We're talking weather, temperatures in the 90s, mostly cloudy week. With that brings chance of thunderstorms. So it may limit your gardening options and such, but really at this point, for South Central Pennsylvania, your stuff should be in the ground. The only thing you could really count on planting this week, if you're that far behind, which I hope you're not, but if you are, you can do like viney things, things that grow on vines like squash, pumpkin, if you want to plant that nonsense. But also grapes. It's actually kind of a good time to plant grapes. You might not get much this year, but it's a good time to plant it. Otherwise, it's really just like the almanac suggests this is a good week for weeding and general yard work. So you really don't even have to pay too much attention to your gardens this week. And remember that we're in the sign of Cancer. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the sign of Cancer rules our digestion and our weight. So really these next 20 some days we should really focus on our weight, our digestion, and believe it or not, now is a great time to start a diet. And there are some herbs and spices that you can kind of incorporate into your food that will help that along. And we all kind of make fun of like pumpkin spice, everything in the fall, but actually now is a really good time for all that stuff like ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, licorice. You want all of those spices, cloves, all of those things incorporated into teas are going to help you lose weight. And under the sign of Cancer, you're going to have that extra like kind of astrological power to help you shed off that excess weight and those pounds. So really take good care of your digestion during the sign of Cancer, and check out below the link to Michael's blog. Very important. And also go to pagermanpowwow.com for like all things powwow. And anything to add?
No, I mean, I think a lot of what Rob mentioned is also pertinent to the area where I live, which is southeastern Pennsylvania in the Philadelphia suburbs. It tends to be a little hotter out that way, but generally the same weather. But even in a suburban area such as, just outside Philadelphia or in some areas of Delaware, gardening, planting, all of that stuff is still important, and it's still part of powwow. You can do it in garden containers, you can do it in small plots of land that you may have, so it's still something that you can do where we live. And that's something I also kind of wanted to stress, that powwow can be alive and well in southeastern Pennsylvania just as it is in south central Pennsylvania. So
yeah, you're right. Like especially in the cities, I know even back in the day there were active powwowers in cities like Philadelphia, Reading, and bigger, like more, well, cities basically. So they would have, I know there were some actually that set up shops, like little powwow offices in the cities. So you can still be a powwow. Powwow is not necessarily a rural thing, but you could still bring some of that rural Pennsylvania German tradition, like he is saying, into your home if you live in an urban area, like through community gardens and what you were saying, growing herbs and such in your own kitchen. That really is a part of it. And I think, I'm glad he brought it up, because people kind of forget that that's a part of Pennsylvania German powwow, is, our connection to kind of our land and growing things and seeing how God like takes things from a seed into this like beautiful plant that we can eat and consume or make into a medicine to help us and help other people. So that's really important. That's all I have for this week. I mean, I hope you all have a great week. Stay cool. It's going to be really hot and humid and disgusting. But then next week we'll have a good update video about July 4th week. The July 4th week coming up. Anything else to say?
yeah, and I hope to get some of my videos started and published on YouTube as well. So give me some time, but I'm gonna get it out there, and I'm gonna get things moving along. And Rob's gonna keep me on track, right, Rob?
Yeah, I definitely look forward to that, because now I'm not the only powwow guy. So this is good, and it's rare that we're spending the weekend together, but hopefully we'll get more of these like collaboration videos in. But definitely watch for his videos and watch for my next video next week. And that's it. Love you guys very much. God bless you guys.
And God bless you as well, and love you guys, and enjoy your week.
Yep, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.